A submarine lost during the Cold War was found 63 years later, but no one could have guessed the crew was still alive, and that time might have stopped for them. Captain Rodriguez had gone out to fish that morning like he always did. 200 miles off Puerto Rico, these waters were rich in fish but full of unease. Skirting the edge of the Bermuda region, sailors called the Lost Triangle, the area was notorious for strange currents and sudden weather shifts. His modern fishing boat, San Miguel, had been Rodriguez's pride for 25 years. State-of-the-art sonar, GPS navigation, satellite link, seafloor mapping gear, everything. But what showed up on sonar that morning wasn't like anything he'd seen in a quarter century at sea. Madre mia. What is that? He muttered, staring at the screen. Sitting motionless at 400 meters was a massive metallic object, too regular to be a whale, too symmetrical to be a rock, too perfect to be a natural formation. The signal was fuzzy at first, but the shape was clear. Long, cylindrical, tapered ends. Something shaped like a submarine. But this was U.S. territorial water under NATO oversight. No foreign navy should be here without clearance. As Rodriguez tightened the scan, his heart began to pound. This wasn't just any sub. The lines, the angles, the propeller profile, everything screamed 1960s technology. Smaller than modern boats, more angular. Impossible, he said to himself in Spanish. These waters have been swept for 50 years. Coast Guard, Navy, everyone. How could something this big be missed for 63 years? Dialing the sonar to maximum sensitivity revealed something even stranger. Faint glimmers along parts of the hull. That meant there was power inside. But how could a submarine have electricity after 63 years on the seafloor? Then came the shocker, a weak but steady radio signal from the sub. Rodriguez spun through frequencies. What he first thought was wind or surf had a pattern, human voices. It sounded Russian, but he wasn't sure. He didn't speak Russian, only Spanish and some English from years around Miami fishermen and tourists. He tuned it in. Words snapped into focus. This is Submarine K-129. We are alive. We request assistance. Who can hear us? Rodriguez's skin prickled. This couldn't be an old loop. Whoever it was responding in real time. He grabbed his phone and called the Coast Guard. This is Captain Rodriguez, San Miguel, license PR 4472. Emergency. Coordinates 18.2 degrees north, 67.1 degrees west. There's a submarine at 400 meters, and I'm receiving live radio from inside. Rodriguez, are you sure? If a boat sank there 60 years ago, no one could be alive. I'm giving you the coordinates. I've done this 25 years. It's real. Get here now. 10-4. Rescue team en route. Hold the area and keep other vessels clear. The Coast Guard arrived 45 minutes later with deep-sea specialists, rescue techs, and a medical team. By luck, Professor Elena Vasquez from the University of Puerto Rico, fluent in Russian, was with them. The signal was still coming in, stronger, clearer, as if the people inside sensed help drawing near. Professor Vasquez listened and went pale. Dios mío, that's K-129, a Soviet sub lost in the Caribbean during the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. But that's impossible. Why impossible? Asked Commander Johnson. Because it's been missing 63 years. The crew would be long dead. The hull should be a rusted hulk. Then what are we looking at? I don't know. But they think they're still there in 1962. They're talking as if the missile crisis is ongoing. At that moment, everything changed because the voices weren't just calling for help. Listening closer, Vasquez turned, stunned. They're not only requesting rescue, they're reporting status. Kennedy's blockade, the Soviet missiles, like it's still 1962. Could be oxygen toxicity, said Dr. Martinez. After 63 years, delirium, time confusion. But Rodriguez had another suspicion. This was the doorstep of the Bermuda Triangle. Lost ships, missing planes, the inexplicable. What if time was actually involved? Commander, Rodriguez said, I've worked these waters 25 years. Strange things happen here. GPS drops out, compasses spin, radios pick up broadcasts from other times. What are you saying? I'm saying, what if these men really are from 1962? Crazy, yes. But how else to explain it? A deep-sea rescue kicked off immediately. 6 hours later, the USS Hampton, a specialized rescue vessel, arrived with submersibles, salvage experts, and marine biologists. When ROVs approached K-129, the view floored everyone. The exterior was in shockingly good shape, minimal rust and wear for something supposedly 6 decades underwater. "This isn't normal," said marine biologist Dr. Sarah Chen. "At this depth and temperature, you don't see metal preserved this well after 63 years. Stranger still, the seawater around the sub was different. Salinity, temperature, mineral content, everything was off. It's like the sub sits in a different water mass," Dr. Chen said. "A 50-meter bubble, almost isolated." As the ROVs neared a hatch, coordinated flashes came from inside. Hand signals. Impossible. How could there be living people? Yet the signaling was precise. By the book, military. When a camera found a porthole, figures moved in the gloom, human silhouettes. The operations room fell silent. They still hadn't seen the biggest shock. When K-129's hatch finally opened, the scene would rattle the scientific world. At 400 meters, a standard egress is impossible, but K-129 deployed a Soviet deep-sea rescue capsule, a 1960s device. That still worked. The first man out looked every bit a Soviet submarine commander. Immaculate uniform, polished rank pins, neat haircut. Most startling was his age. He looked in his 60s. If he'd boarded in 1962, he should be at least 95. Breaking the surface, his first words were in Russian. "I am Captain Viktor Petrov, commander of submarine K-129. What is today's date?" Professor Vasquez translated, and all eyes turned to Commander Johnson, who mustered a few Russian words. 2025, November 15th. Shock, denial, then dread washed over Victor's face. His knees trembled. "No, impossible," he whispered. "We were here just yesterday." October 16th, 1962. The crisis continues. Kennedy has blockaded Cuba. Silence. The man truly believed it was 1962. Psychologist Dr. Elizabeth Chen examined him. Not dementia. He's lucid, but his time perception is anchored 63 years ago. "How can that be?" Johnson asked. "I don't know. But physically, he doesn't look 95. A second capsule surfaced with 3 more. Engineer Alexei Volkov, radar tech Dmitry Kozlov, navigator Ivan Smirnov, uniforms, haircuts, all straight out of 1962, each looking 30 to 35 years younger than their chronological age. "Comrade Captain," Alexei asked Victor, "where are we? Is this an American ship?" Victor took in the modern cutter, digital displays, new uniforms, technology far beyond 1962. "Yes," he said, "but these systems, these ships, they didn't exist in 62. Professor Vasquez slowly explained. The Cold War ended. The Soviet Union dissolved. The Berlin Wall fell. 63 years had passed. The men balked. "Imperialist propaganda," Dmitry snapped. "They're interrogating us." But the proof was everywhere. Cell phones, internet, satellite images, photos of modern Russia. The world was not the one they'd left, and the surprises weren't over. Victor's account of the last night aboard would suggest how time had stopped. Aboard the Hampton, Viktor described life on K-129. "For us, only a single night passed. On October 15th, some unknown force hit us. Electrical systems went mad. The compass spun. Then everything slowed." "How do you mean, slowed?" "It was like time thickened. Moving, speaking, thinking. Everything like slow motion. Then a heavy sleep. When we woke, we thought an hour had passed." The scientists traded looks. Time dilation is a real effect in relativity, but nothing like this had ever been observed. Dr. Chen's tests were jaw-dropping. Cellular age, DNA markers, hormones, all matched a 60-year-old. Chronologically, Victor should be 95. "Victor, doctor," Chen said carefully, Biologically, you're about 60. Chronologically, you should be 95. Medically, that doesn't happen. I feel 32, Viktor said. I was 32 in 1962. It feels like yesterday. The others showed the same pattern. Alexei should have been 87, but looked about 50. Dmitri should have been 91, but looked mid-50s. Time seemed to have slowed differently for each. What did you eat during those 63 years? Dr. Martinez asked. What's 63 years? Viktor blinked. We ate last night. Tinned meat, rye bread, borscht, standard Soviet rations. It was as if they'd truly lived only a day. FBI Special Agent Maria Santos verified identities in Soviet archives. Birth dates, families, ranks, duty assignments all lined up. Viktor Petrov, born May 7, 1930, Leningrad, Soviet Navy submarine commander, assigned to K-129 in 1962. Last contact, October 15, 1962, Caribbean. My family? Viktor asked. Katerina? Svetlana? Are they? The room fell quiet. 63 years is a lifetime. Santos sighed. Your wife, Katerina Petrova, passed away in 1987, but your daughter Svetlana is alive. 68 years old, retired teacher in St. Petersburg. Petersburg, Viktor crumpled, sobbing. Katerina had waited 25 years and died before he returned. And my little Svetlana? He asked through tears. She's alive and a grandmother now. 2 sons, 4 grandchildren. The 5-year-old he remembered was now 68. Within 48 hours, Viktor's story exploded worldwide. Ghosts of the Cold War, Commander returns after 63 years, the sub that stopped time, Bermuda Triangle mystery, headlines everywhere. CNN, BBC, RT, Al Jazeera, wall-to-wall coverage. Hashtag K129, hashtag time stopped, hashtag Viktor Petrov trended globally. Conspiracy theorists shouted aliens. Scientists pursued time anomaly models. Historians dove into Cold War archives. The Russian embassy moved quickly. Living Soviet sailors after 63 years. This was a diplomatic earthquake. Comrade Viktor, said Ambassador Alexander Volkov, you are a living piece of history. Russia wants to welcome you home. Rodina. My homeland, Viktor murmured. But the Soviet Union? Truly gone? The Russian Federation continues. The president would like to meet you. You're a last witness of the era. And my family? May I see Svetlana? Of course. But prepare yourself. She doesn't really know you. To you, she's a 5-year-old. To her, you look younger than her age. 2 weeks later, Viktor flew to Moscow. Thousands met him at Sheremetyevo. History buffs, Soviet nostalgists, media swarms. Viktor! Viktor! They chanted. Cold War hero. Moscow stunned him. Capitalist ads, global brands. Little trace of the USSR. Is this really Moscow? He asked the aide. Yes, Comrade Viktor. Much has changed in 30 years. Svetlana awaited him at the airport. 68, white-haired, glasses, but with the same spark in her eyes. Viktor's knees buckled. Papa? She asked through tears, voice carrying 63 years of longing. Are you really my father? He embraced her. She was taller than him now, older to the eye, but the scent, the warmth, she was still his Svetlana. Yes, I'm your papa, Viktor said. You'll always be my little princess. Do you still remember the teddy bear lullaby? She wept. Mama sang it every night. We'll sing it together when Papa comes home, she'd say. She sang it for 25 years. It broke him. Katerina had waited and believed until 1987. Where is Mama buried? He asked. At Novodevichy Cemetery. I visit on your birthday and your anniversary. They went together on the stone. Beloved wife and mother. Always waited for Viktor. Viktor crouched, hands on the earth, carrying the weight of 6 decades. Katerina, my love, he whispered. I came back. Late, but I came back. Papa, Svetlana said, hand on his shoulder. Mama never doubted you. Viktor will return, she said. He promised. He will. You return. She just didn't live to see it. Tears streaming, he said, "I came back too late, my girl." "No, Papa. You came back when I needed you most." Meeting the grandsons, Mikhail, 45, and Alexei, 42, brought its own shock. Viktor looked younger than them. "Dedushka," Mikhail said, astonished. "You look younger than I do." "My time stopped," Viktor said gently. "You live in 2025. I'm still in 1962. They introduced him to modern life. iPhones, internet, social media, YouTube. Magic to a 1960s sailor. "How does this work?" he asked, turning a phone in his hands. "Satellites, Dedushka. We talk to the world through the sky." Viktor had commanded crews in the dawn of the Sputnik age. This was beyond anything he knew. The family took him to the old Soviet-era apartment. "Mama never changed it," Svetlana said. "Your photos still hang. Your clothes are still in the closet." Viktor opened the wardrobe, uniforms and suits from 1962. Katerina had kept them for 25 years, as if he might walk in any day. On the desk lay her diary. The first page, October 16th, 1962, the day he vanished. "Viktor shipped out today. Svetlana and I will wait. Those eyes, that smile. He will come home." He turned the pages. Hope, grief, hope again. 1972. 10 years. Svetlana asked for him every day. 1977. 15 years. Perhaps he's gone, but I still feel he lives. 1982. 20 years. Everyone says to give up hope, but a heart knows 1987, my last days. I hope to see Viktor. If not here, then beyond. He closed the diary in tears. Katrina had never remarried. Soon the Kremlin called. The president met Viktor. "Captain Viktor, you're a legend of our naval history." "Thank you, Mr. President. I only tried to do my duty." "Your story isn't only military, it's scientific. We're launching time anomaly research. We want Russia to lead, and we want you as an advisor at Moscow University. I'm just a submarine commander. You've lived the phenomenon. That experience is priceless." Viktor waited. "Stay near Svetlana. Help science." "But what about his men?" "My crew? They'll choose where to live. Pensions, care, everything covered." He also felt a pull back to America. Friendship with Captain Rodriguez. Scientific rapport with Dr. Chen. "I need time," he said. As he adjusted to Moscow's new reality, markets, private property, freedom and uncertainty, calls from Dr. Chen kept coming. "Viktor, Bermuda Triangle sampling continues. The water around your sub had impossible signatures. Time flow anomalies? What does that mean? We might find others. We might understand time pockets tempting." But Svetlana pleaded, "Papa, I waited 63 years. Don't go." He struggled. Family or science? Russia or America? Then Alexei phoned, panicked. "Captain, there's a problem. Dmitri and Ivan, they're aging fast." "What do you mean?" "They stayed in America. In 2 months, they've gone gray, wrinkled. Doctors are baffled." Dr. Chen confirmed. "They've aged about 10 years in 2 months. Cellular aging 5 times normal. It's like the missing years are catching up." "In Russia, Alexei and I are fine," Viktor said. "No acceleration." "Fascinating," Chen said. "Could geography matter? Or psychology?" Viktor made his choice. His men came first. He flew to the U.S. Seeing Dmitri shocked him. 2 months earlier, he'd looked mid-50s. Now he looked 70. Ivan was similar. "I'm scared, Captain," Dmitri whispered. "My body is racing." "Is there a way to stop it?" Viktor asked. "We don't know, Doctor," Chen said. "You and Alexei aren't affected." Viktor searched for a pattern. Dmitri and Ivan were unmarried. Alexei and I had families. We had anchors. "That could matter, Doctor," Chen said. "Strong emotional bonds might buffer the anomaly." A wild hypothesis. Love as a time anchor. That night, Viktor called Svetlana. "You might be my time anchor, Dochka." "What do you mean?" "Your love ties me to 1962, keeps me steady." She cried. "Then I'll always stay with you." "No, live your life. Just know you are my strength." The emotional anchor theory lit up academia, physics and psychology in a rare duet. Chen's team tested it. Dmitry reconnected with his ex-wife, Yelena. His aging slowed. Ivan grew close to Maria Rodriguez, the captain's daughter. His health stabilized. Love really does slow time, Doctor. Chen joked, except it wasn't a joke anymore. Victor had become more than a commander. He was a pioneer. Harvard, MIT, Stanford all called. I just don't want to lose the people I love, Victor said simply. 6 months on, Victor shuttled between Russia and the U.S. Svetlana visited monthly. The great-grandkids adored Data Victor. Time anomaly research spun off new ideas. Anti-aging therapies, rudimentary time dilation devices. Your story matters to humanity, Doctor, Chen told him. Mastering time could be the next frontier, and you opened the door. I was only trying to get home, Victor smiled. Sometimes getting home changes the world. 5 years later, Victor now looked about 65, aging slowly and under control, with help from modern medicine and time therapy protocols. He kept a home near Svetlana in St. Petersburg, summers in the U.S. for research, winters in Russia with family. The crew was doing well. Dmitry remarried Yelena. Ivan built a life with Maria Rodriguez. Alexei worked at a tech firm in Moscow. Victor's greatest joy was the little great-great-grandkids, 3 and 4 years old, who sprinted toward him shouting, Deda Victor, tell us a submarine story. He taught them about time and love. Sometimes time stops, sometimes it speeds up, but love stays the same. Each evening he recorded messages to a global audience. Hello friends, I'm Victor, a submarine captain who disappeared 68 years ago. Here's what I've learned. Time is a concept. Love is real. When I returned after 63 years, everything had changed. My wife was gone. My daughter had grown old. The world was new. But love hadn't changed. Svetlana welcomed me as her father because love is stronger than time. Dmitry found his way back to Yelena, even found love with Maria. Alexei rebuilt his life because love makes the impossible possible. On this channel, I share time anomalies, Cold War memories, and above all, the power of love. If these stories inspire you, subscribe. And remember, time may pause or race, but love is eternal. He switched off the camera. Outside, little Misha played in the snow. Data Victor, can we go to the Submarine Museum tomorrow? Victor smiled. A replica of K-129 stood in Moscow now, teaching children their great-grandfather's story. Of course, Vinuk. I'll tell you what it was like. He slept peacefully that night, Katerina's photo by his bed. He had finally come home. Late, yes, but love had been waiting. Victor's story goes on, not just as a hero of the past, but a builder of the future. And if this story gives you strength, remember, love is the one force that can hold time still. Stronger together, together we can defy time. Subscribe. Love is stronger than time.